we have some news for you. Anthony Santander will undergo left labral shoulder surgery and miss 5 to 6 months.
So was that not an option at the end of the season? Or?
Great question. I mean, he was suffering from that all year. He came back, tried to play in the World Series, didn't work. They shut him down. Why did he not go under the knife on November 3rd? I have no idea. I mean,
next morning the season's over. You got to get that done to be ready for next year's baseball.
Right. Like, unless something happened in terms of training. I mean, there was a chance they thought we can rehab out of it. We're going to give it an off season and give it a shot, and it didn't work. But this guy basically was paid $90 million, and he will not play for them for 2 years.
Yeah. Like, you feel like you've been had. It's just like, why did Baltimore walk away after, 44 home runs he hit with the Baltimore Orioles?
Yep.
And all of a sudden they're just like, you can go play for the Blue Jays. A division rival let this guy walk. You just have to ask yourself why. And you feel like you've been had. Because he stunk the joint out when he played last year, and then he had the injury he just couldn't play at the most critical times, and then he came back, and then he was out again, and now he's going to miss the first 5 or 6 months of the season. You feel like you've been jammed up by the guy.
Right.
Totally.
And he was a guy I circled, when we were talking about, with Bichette leaving and them not getting a couple of the bigger bats that they were in on.
Bounce back season type of thing next year.
Exactly.
Too.
Like, it's almost a free agent signing because he didn't play last year. When he did play, it was a mess, and then he was hurt, and then when he came back, he didn't have it. That I thought there was real potential. You get him healthy, switch hitting, power, bat, you put him in the lineup, he can give you 35 home runs. He might actually supply basically the power numbers Bichette was going to supply you, or maybe more. And now that's completely off the table. Maybe he returns in August, September, but at that point,
it's too late.
Can you get up and running and do anything after basically not playing baseball for 2 years? I don't know. I'm not sure. This is a hit. Now, maybe they knew this was coming, but they were in on other guys and they didn't get them, right? This is where Kyle Tucker comes into play. Didn't get him. You're in on maybe, I don't know, Bregman. Didn't get him. Maybe you're in on a number of different guys who are available, and there's still some bats who are out there. Alonso goes to Baltimore. If he's out of the lineup basically the whole year, Bichette's gone, they got to find out where the offense is coming from, right? It's going to put pressure on guys again. Vladdy's got to have a great season. Springer, he can't fall off a cliff.
But there's no guarantee he's going to play like he did last year.
I'd be shocked. I'd be shocked if he did. And, to his credit, I doubted him last year, and look what he did. He was phenomenal. Top 5 MVP last year.
Backing it up is a difficult decision.
I don't need him to back it up, but I need 90% of that, right? Like, I don't need an exact replicate of what he did.
75% of that.
Maybe 75%. Stay healthy, hit with some pop, be clutch. I'll take it. But Bo gone, Santander done.
Well, that's the thing about Santander. Hurts. Don't you think if Santander went to the organization, maybe their stance would have changed a little bit on the approach to Bo Bichette? I don't know if they were going to give him the Mets money, but would it not have changed a little bit?
It's a realistic question.
Listening to Keegan, him healthy, performing, was a part of their mix of going into this season, and now he's just not there. I don't know. You just wish sometimes, and I get frustrated, being an athlete and competitive. Sometimes you just want to cut a guy a check and say, you got to get lost because it's just we don't want to take the chance of you doing this to us again. You know what I mean? Just take it all and get lost and go somewhere else.
It is a very valid question. I don't know if we'll ever get a true answer out of them. I doubt it, but when did you know this was possible? Did you know 2 months ago, hey, this guy's done, man, and he's going to – although if you knew then, I don't know why you wouldn't have surgery.
Yeah, if you were doing some kind of crazy plyometrics or some kind of crazy bench press or something and you blew your shoulder out, you know what? Tough luck, whatever. But if you were hemming and hawing about this and you were like, I want to give it a shot, and then the first day of kind of pitchers and catchers, you're like, I just don't want to do this. I want to get surgery. That's a jam job, dude.
It's crushing for an organization if that's the timeline. hey, let us know, because we kind of got to know. No, I think I'm going to be okay. I'm rehabbing.
No organization, Brian, would have a timeline where we're going to check in with you on February 15th to see how your shoulder is, and then we're going to decide to shut you down and put you down for 5 or 6 months.
I know.
That would be insanity.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And if they knew, they weren't going to pay Tucker that money, although they could have. They could have. Everyone pretends as if it's impossible to do that. They could have. They could have paid Bo. Maybe Bo was mentally gone. Maybe he had decided, I'm out, I'm leaving, I need something new. It's possible. But you could pay Bo Bichette $43 million. You could. Would it be a sensible investment? No. I mean, it's a massive overpayment. So's Tucker's a massive overpayment. But it's a crazy overpayment? Anthony Santander. It's going to be $90 million for nothing.
Paying him to sit at home.
Exactly. And he's not the only news. This is where, so Shane Bieber's ramp up, quote unquote, will be a little bit delayed as he deals with right forearm fatigue. So do you guys remember, and I got hit, there were Blue Jay fans, because at this time, when he opted in,
your antennas went off, dude.
I did the old Windhorse. Now, why would he opt in? And everyone was like, "How dare you? It's because everyone loves it here. It's because the wives are treated so well." And I said, "All right, maybe you're right. That'd be great. That'd be amazing." Or it's that he knows he ain't at 100%, and he's not passing a physical for $150 million somewhere else.
Why wouldn't he have explored the market?
Exactly. Why wouldn't he? He's a Cy Young winner. He came back and pitched pretty well down the stretch. And now, hopefully he pitches for them throughout the season. But as Keegan points out, this kind of gives you your Jose Barrios answer as to why Barrios is still around. Because you might need him. Like if Bieber is not an option, I don't know if Cody Ponce is a guy they're going to stretch out and pitch in the rotation, if he's going to be a relief pitcher. I don't know what the answer is on that. Then Barrios is maybe still a part of the program, which is awkward as well, because the way it went out in the World Series, and he left. He just took off. And, I don't know. It's just bad mojo for day one after Game 7 of the World Series. I don't want to go overboard, because I still think they're a good team, and you hope you can build off last year, obviously, and the only way you can build off that is by actually winning Game 7 of the World Series. But Santander done for basically the year. Bowden Francis is done as well. He's having UCL reconstructive surgery. He's done.
There's another guy. What did you do that in the middle of winter, throwing snowballs, or what the hell's up with?
I don't know, but Bowden Francis is not an option either.
They must have. Had to. They've known all this, guys, and they're announcing it here day one. That's what you're doing. You're announcing it, going, this guy might have had surgery a month ago. Who knows?
Maybe.
Point being, they're probably announcing this stuff right now because the off season's the off season, and I just, my whole thing is, did they replace these players? Did they, if they knew about it, what's your backup plan to replace these players so that you aren't, quote unquote, shorthanded or feel like you're lesser of a team without them? So,
well, they didn't, in terms of the bats, they didn't.
No.
They did not, bring in enough offense to find a way to replace Bichette and whatever you were hoping Santander could be. We haven't seen Santander supply it for the Jays, but he's obviously a very capable power bat. Bichette being out is something they haven't replaced. Now, the arms, Bieber was going to be further down the rotation anyway. I think it was going to be Cease, Savage, Gosman, I guess Barrios, and, they'll figure out what they do with the rest of the rotation and the rest of the bullpen. But anyway, Santander out for a while. Francis done for the year. And the Bieber news is more scary. Is he itching towards another Tommy John, or something like that? You get that
That's
forearm
how it starts,
tightness.
man, the forearm, and then all of a sudden the hell breaks loose.
He's just coming back off it, but is there something going on there that I don't know? That's concerning, because that rotation was going to be a strength, a significant one. With him being healthy and getting back to Cy Young caliber arm, that's lights out, man. It's probably the best rotation.
Where does that put them with their situation with Barrios? Does he all of a sudden their best friend again?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously you got to butter him up, and that's probably your rotation. Is Gosman, Savage, Cease, Barrios, and I don't know, Ponce or Francis was going to fight for different spots, and I don't know. We'll see.